You know we're in a bad place when the latest model iPhone has more physical buttons on it than the original iPhone. Yes, the iPhone is dead and Apple knows it. What's going on, YouTube? Listen, this is a sad day for me. I am an Apple fanboy, but what I have seen in the last few iPhone releases has been horrible. I missed the entire hype train for iPhone 16 because I was internally conflicted. I want a new iPhone. I just need Apple to give me a reason. Just give me a reason to get one. Colors and materials, it's not enough anymore. So I'm going to explain why the iPhone is dead, but Apple just keeps milking it. Hit the subscribe button and click the bell so you don't miss us. We cover all things tech. I'm Chris Grant Jr. It's the Granite Geek Show. All right, so I want you to remember some important years. Firstly, 2007, 2008, 2010, 2011, 13, 17, 2020, and 2023. Why are these dates important? Well, because they mark significant changes that happened to the iPhone, which changed its overall functionality and didn't simply improve something that the iPhone could already do. Of course, in 2007, this was the very first iPhone. And as Steve Jobs famously pointed out, it was a phone, it was your iPod, it was a web access device, it had a camera on it, all rolled into one, and it could do some other things as well. And this was groundbreaking. Nobody had ever seen a device that combined all those things in a multi-touch interface. Remember, we were in a world of Blackberries and Motorola Razors. There were buttons on everything. And like I said in the beginning of this video, how do we have more buttons now? It's like coming full circle. Anyway, I digress. 2008, this was when the iPhone 3GS came out, and this was the very next year. Great innovation. They added GPS for location services. So now your iPhone could replace your GPS in your car. An amazing functionality that was added. Now in 2010, they added a front-facing camera and the ability for FaceTime, something that people use to this day, whether for FaceTime or even for Zoom video calling. If Apple didn't implement this, who knows where the world would be after the pandemic when so many things went virtual, including many meetings. 2011 will add it. Even though there was voice control, Apple introduced Siri officially. Now they had actually purchased the app Siri. They purchased the company that had an app on the App Store called Siri. If anybody remembers that, I actually had downloaded that. And then Apple bought the company, integrated it into what we now know as Siri, giving us a virtual assistant. Now skip 2012 because the next actual functional improvement to the iPhone came with the iPhone 5S. And of course that added biometric security with the addition of Touch ID. This was groundbreaking. Now you would have a super safe, super secure, super hard to hack way of getting into your phone and keeping your data and private information private. Now, this is the next biggest jump, as 2014, 15, and 16 didn't add really any new functionality to the iPhone, and this was the beginning of the iPhone's woes. In 2017, we saw the revolutionary Face ID, and I really do think that technology is awesome. The technology of Face ID and then later the LiDAR allowed for 3D spatial computing and understanding the environment that the iPhone was actually in. So this was a big upgrade. 2020, I really don't want to add this as a feature at all because, again, it simply improves on something the iPhone could already do. But the craze about 5G was everywhere. It was hard to miss it. And so the iPhone added 5G connectivity in 2020. Now, if you don't count that 2020 mark, it's another 5 years from 2017 to 2022 when we get satellite connectivity, which is an awesome upgrade as well, which allows users to connect in emergency situations without needing Wi-Fi or cellular connectivity. And that was it. That's what I have. 2022 saw the iPhone 14. This is the iPhone 14 Pro Max. But if you notice, the upgrades are becoming fewer and further in between. Now it's like, I don't even want to call some of these things upgrades. I mean, you can argue all day that colors and finishes and materials are upgrades. I don't think so. Titanium, yes, titanium's very nice, but it's not like we didn't have durable iPhones, certainly with cases, and the 2014 had stainless steel borders. So talk about durability. For everyday use, the iPhone 14 still holds up well with its stainless steel finish. So when you're starting to add colors as new features and new reasons to buy the phone, the writing's on the wall, so to speak. And now with the latest iPhone 16, the homie Jay from the Baseball Banter broadcast, you should check out his channel. I'll put a link down below. He's got the 16. And it seems the only difference with this phone is a half-baked software feature called AppleIntelligence. it has a pretty glow around the screen. That's it. That's why I'm supposed to buy a new iPhone 16. And listen, it's been 2 years. I'm an Apple fanboy. I've been fiending for a reason to buy a new iPhone. Apple, give me a reason to buy a new iPhone. Even if AppleIntelligence was fully cooked and amazing, I would really have to push myself to buy it, but I probably would have gotten it. It's like what happened to the TikTok cycle, right? I thought I got on the perfect number 14 and then it'd be 16 and the 18. I mean, honestly, I think after 17, it starts to sound a little goofy myself, but you would think that you would have bigger upgrades every 2 years. And so I was like, okay, so that I'll have more to talk about and a better, ooh, this is new experience with my iPhones. I'm gonna just skip a year. Most contracts are 2-year contracts anyway. And I'm a fan, just like many customers of Apple, but it doesn't mean that customers are stupid. Like we can tell that not really anything's changing. I mean, even the latest commercial with Patrick Mahomes, it's a T-Mobile commercial with Mahomes and Snoop Dogg, right? And they're talking about the best feature on the phone being AppleIntelligence, which is not fully even ready for prime time. And here's the real kicker. AppleIntelligence is only available on the iPhone 15 or newer. So you can tell, and let me just say, the iPhone 14 can run AppleIntelligence, okay? So many AI software apps have been used on iPhone 14 and even a little bit older. You could say, oh, well, it's all the computation that has to happen between ChatGPT and AppleIntelligence. Miss me with that. The iPhone 14 could run it. It is a limitation that Apple's putting on the device to kind of force people to upgrade if they have anything older than an iPhone 15. And here's the real crazy thing. And I talked about, this was the very first thing I said in the video. We're now adding more buttons. The original iPhone had the home button, remember physical home buttons, the volume rocker, right? And the mute switch. That was it. And we had a headphone jack. Those glorious days. Anyway, now we've got the action switch, the mute button, the volume up and down. We've got the side home button. Like that's 5 buttons now on the iPhone that don't, and here's the crazy thing, they don't actually improve what the iPhone can do. The button just, if you want to talk about the action button, it allows you to access a certain feature quicker with, the push of a button. So, what does this mean? The iPhone is clearly on its last legs, and Apple knows that. But they're a company like any other company, and they're going to try and milk as many sales as iPhone is their best-selling product. They're going to milk that as long as they can, as long as people will line up and go and buy iPhone. Why wouldn't they? They'd be dumb not to keep selling iPhone. But they've already introduced what's next, and that's AR and VR with the Apple headset. Now, obviously, they're going to have to start bringing that price down over time, and they will, but that's clearly going to be what's next. If you even saw Mark Zuckerberg came out with his digital AR glasses or whatever for Facebook, Apple's going to need to hurry up, though, on this before somebody has a smaller and better version of what Apple's doing. Now, they crammed a bunch of technology and, 4K screens for each eye. That's really cool. But you've got to get it into the hands of the masses very quickly, because I don't know how long people are going to keep buying this. Like right now, even the rumors about the iPhone 17 are not impressive. Like, how long has the reason to get a new iPhone been, oh, look at the camera. It's got a great new camera. But it's not it's not called an iCam. It's called an iPhone. Primarily, it's a phone. People liked the cameras, and that may be it's definitely one of the top uses that people have for their phones. But now we're getting to the point where most people, if you got a 13, 14 or newer, your phone's camera is great in most situations. There's nothing that it produces that is not passable. At nighttime, in daytime, it's got portrait mode. This can shoot ProRes. Even the 14 can shoot ProRes. So it's like, give me a reason, please. I want to get the iPhone 17. I wanted to get the iPhone 16. But I'm not going to. And if you feel the same way, of course, let me know with a comment down in the description below. I'm always chatting it up with you guys. Also, don't forget there's Granite Geek merch down below. If you want to see, I've been checking out some cool computer dongles that use Thunderbolt to expand the computer's functionality. Speaking of functionality, I almost got tongue-tied there. I'll leave links down below to that as well. Also, if you like the style and flow of the way the Granny Geek Show is made, if you like the quality of the videos, I'm giving away a step-by-step guide for free, so I'll leave a link down in the description below for that as well. With that being said, guys, like, subscribe, I think I already said it, and click the bell so you don't miss as we cover all things tech. I'm Chris Grant Jr. It's the Granny Geek Show.